Hello, everyone, and thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Before I Go podcast. I recently discovered the Style Like You YouTube channel. The channel is described as follows. Created by mother-daughter duo Elisa Goodkind and Lily Mandelbaum, Style Like You is a radically honest storytelling platform powering a self-acceptance revolution. Through intimate docu-style video series, including the What's Underneath project, Getting Dressed, an Act of Self-Love, Dispelling Beauty Myths and more, we celebrate personal style and beauty as an expression of individuality, empowerment, and self-acceptance. I found the episodes to be very interesting, and it is certainly worth a watch if you have time. The latest episode featured former supermodel Paulina Porizkova, who is my age, in her 50s. She discusses how when she was a model, she was always seen, obviously because she was a model, but never heard. Now, in her mid-50s, she feels completely invisible because she's not the pretty young thing she once was. No one sees her, in addition to not hearing her. I resonated with one aspect of her interview, and that aspect was the feeling of being invisible. Can you imagine how it must feel to be in a world of millions of people and feel completely invisible? I can. I obviously am not and have never been a supermodel. However, when I was younger, I was a head turner, meaning I was able to turn a head or two or get a second look from members of the opposite sex. When I was in high school, I was a new girl, and everyone wanted to find out who the new girl was and get to know the new girl. In college, it was so overwhelming that I started wearing sweatpants, no makeup, and putting my hair in a ponytail so I wouldn't draw attention to myself. In my 20s, I think I started to embrace the attention and actually began to enjoy it and use it to my advantage. Then somewhere between my late 30s and mid 40s, something happened. Somewhere along the line, I disappeared. I felt completely invisible. Now, it's not as though I was trying to get attention and no one noticed. It was more like I went away emotionally, and when I tried to come back, no one cared or even noticed. I've said before on this podcast that I quite literally had a breakdown when I turned 30. It was a pretty dark time in my life, and it stayed dark for about 7 years. After that, I got divorced, I bought a house, and I started to rebuild my life with my children. There were pockets of light, and I felt the darkness lift. Then I got into another relationship that was emotionally abusive, and I was back in the dark. Once that ended, I took another 7 years to crawl back into the light, and thankfully, I've been shining ever since. And even though I was shining, the world seemed different to me. I was no longer the head turner. Men weren't running up to me in the grocery store or in the gym or anywhere. Had I changed that much? No, I was still cute. Not only was I still cute, I was also stronger, smarter, and much more interesting. Still nothing. I tried the online dating thing and hated it. And even though I did meet a few people, but none of them were really anything to write home about. The truth is, in the beginning, I felt that if I met the right man, then I would no longer feel invisible. I would feel seen and valued. I have since learned that there is no relationship that is going to make me feel seen. For me, and maybe for you, that has to be an inside job. I don't think I have ever actively sought out validation for anything I did. I often make major decisions without consulting anyone. I rely on my own judgment all the time. So why did I now feel like I needed someone or something to make me feel visible? What was happening to me is the same thing that happens to many women my age. We get older and are no longer viewed as doable, and somehow that translates to being less valuable or less worthy. We have been conditioned to measure our worth based on how many men want to go to bed with us. It's the choose me, pick me narrative, shout out to Meredith Grey, and it has messed us up from a very early age. I know that in today's world of social media and influencers and followers and likes, that everyone feels that their importance is measured by how many people you can get in front of, by how many people see you. I've been there and it is exhausting. It's like putting on a show every single day, and at the end of the day, I never felt more seen, more loved, more appreciated. I still went to bed alone. I still woke up alone. What is it all for? What I have discovered, though, is that if you can reject that belief and look in the mirror and see yourself and validate yourself, then you will no longer feel invisible. We need to recognize the value that comes from within. I found that when my circle got smaller, my vision became much clearer. I am smart. I am kind. I'm a valuable member of society. And if you can't see that, then maybe it's not because I'm invisible. Maybe it's because you're blind. Well, that's all I have for today. Thank you so much for listening. But before I go, let me share this with you from Maurice Maeterlinck. Happiness is rarely absent. It is we that know not of its presence. I'll see you next time.